Alrighty guys, so right now we're working on this one right here. Kyle just hurt himself trying to get oh, he got it. Look at that. It's the crankcase ventilation PCV. The screws of course are on the back side of the engine, so if we look back there, that's where these motherfuckers are.
I have tiny hands.
He has smaller hands than I do. So once we get this off, next comes the throttle bodies. Got 2 of them on this car, and then from there it's kind of just disassemble the fuel system and then get the manifold off. So we'll keep you guys updated, and yeah, I got it. He got it.
Alrighty guys, so update part 2. Go ahead, Nick.
We have both throttle bodies off, or what is it, throttle valve control?
Throttle valve controls.
Controls, whatever it is that Audi calls them. So currently we're trying to remove this big guy right here. That's our next step. Then from there it's depressurizing the fuel system, which is gonna be thrilling. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll keep on going.
And then future reference, organization is key. Like just literally everything. Categorize everything, label everything, just...
Especially with an Audi.
Especially with an Audi, yes. But going a lot better. This manual is very useful, making your life so much easier. Kudos to Audi for actually making things super simple as far as step-by-step processes. But I like it, so that's good, because, I mean, working on Cody's SS, any Camaro, any LS car, you kind of have to figure it out. So kudos to Audi. What are we using?
Well, this is a boroscope. It's actually pretty nice, like 60 bucks. And it's good to help diagnose problems. You know, you never know when you might need to look into a tight area, and this just makes it so much easier. Alrighty. So right now we're going to be looking down into the intake manifold, because this has variable... here, I'll give you a reference as well. This has variable...
Alrighty, hold on. Hold that in there. I'll play around with the camera.
What am I trying to say? Variable runner lengths. So we can see how nasty it is in there too. But right there, stop. You can see one of the turnbuckles for those flaps. It looks pretty good. It also looks nasty in there. So we might be breaking this in half once it's out to clean that. I'm expecting pretty bad carbon buildup based off of what I'm seeing here. Oh. It's just a lot of oil. Right now it's burning oil, and I'm trying to get that resolved. So, but yeah. Have the right tools, and especially in a job like this, when you're tearing apart everything, this is honestly one of my most in-depth jobs I've ever done, but you want to make sure anything that you're taking apart that has a gasket, they're so cheap. The gaskets are always cheap. So make sure you've got the gaskets, because you don't want to get this deep and then find that you needed a gasket that you don't have, or go ahead and use an old gasket that might already be failing, and then 2 months down the road you have to do this again. So if you're doing a job like this where you're taking a whole manifold off, you've got 5, 6 gaskets that are coming out, just buy those 5 or 6 gaskets and replace them, because it's worth it in the end. So
cool. Cool. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Right, get in there.
Okay.
Okay, left 4. That's good. Just break them first.
Okay.
Right 3. Left 3.
If you're a kid watching this channel, you
Welcome.
know what's up.
You're doing it right. You know what's up. You know what you want in life. That's fucking respectable right there.
Actually, if you know about this car,
Yeah,
you're
if you're a
pretty
kid and you know
knowledgeable.
this S8, if you know about the D3 S8s, then I applaud you, man.
Or if you're a parent, welcome.
If you're a parent letting your kids watch this, Bravo.
Can I see you? Oh, barely. What is that? There we go. Because then you can see that.
It's important to keep track of your bolts, kids.
Organization is key. Actually, yeah, all you kids that play Minecraft or something, yeah, organization is key. Same thing with cars. So, this is probably going to be the only time I
stole it.
If there's anything you learn from me, organization is key. In life, in cars. Nope. I think
You're
we should be
close.
able to pull it though.
And then,
Because that is the last one, then have it come with it. Okay. Alrighty. She's gonna be heavy, isn't she?
oh god, it's frightening. We need Cody.
Alrighty.
And gloves. For those of you worried about reassembly or disassembly, highly recommend getting any manual for your car. You know, if this is not the car that you own, you're just interested in how to do it, get the manual for your car. There's a few places you can just type in the year, model, make of your car and shop manual. Get the manual. Helps a lot. Okay, let's try to lift this and see if those come with. Put a hand here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not too far in, just right here. There's a lip.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Actually. Is that really going to be in our way?
No, but I know this one
Is it?
No, can you get it up and over?
is. No.
Yeah.
That only took 20 minutes to figure out how to do the camera. Anyway.
Welcome back. Welcome back to ThirdBayGarage.
So we did a lot of off-camera work, obviously.
I washed my hands. I've been working, I promise.
I didn't. No kidding.
So, since we last talked, we've gotten most of it disassembled, including the fuel system. That was a big part of things, was depressurizing the fuel system. Fun process, all described in the Audi manual. Luckily, the system, for those tech lovers, go from 120 bar for the high pressure fuel system, and we depressurize it down to 6 bar.
Reference next time, wrap it with like some cloth or something, because it did spray everywhere, including my face. But it's okay, because it was a lot better than what we thought.
Yeah.
Fire extinguisher was not ready, but next time
Should have
had. We had a
Just
bottle
in
of
case.
water. That's
So.
our safety feature.
And for those that may be doing this on their S8 5.2, S6 5.2, Lamborghini, if you're watching.
I don't think if you own a Lamborghini, I don't think you're doing it by yourself. So yeah.
Either way, good note is do the fuel depressurization before you start disassembling the throttle bodies. We had to plug the throttle bodies back in, even though they weren't bolted to anything, they weren't doing anything, just for the car to actually start.
Gotta trick the car, man.
You gotta trick the car. Idled really rough as well, whereas with the throttle bodies connected to the air inlet, it would have done a little better. But it still worked. We got it depressurized. We've got the lines, a couple of lines disconnected entirely. We're working on getting the manifold off right now so that we can actually get the other 2 fuel lines disconnected. As it turns out, you've got to take the manifold off to get those disconnected.
How much gas did you have to give it when it was like dying? I could just hear like, oh my god.
It almost died. I was probably a quarter throttle, a little more here and there, depending on whether or not it was about to die.
My job was to make sure fuel wasn't spewing everywhere, oil wasn't shooting everywhere, and nothing got in the intake. That was #1 priority. I had to hold a towel over just in case.
Yeah.
Unless my dumbass dropped it in there.
Yeah, that was my main concern, was something getting sucked in, and then all of a sudden you turn a fun little gasket replacement job into hunting for a towel, hoping it just didn't make it into the valves and into the cylinders.
We've done that before, actually, with Sean's 98 SS. That's another story. So we'll probably actually have a skit called Story Time for stuff that we never got on camera. But we'll
kind of
sit
like
down
a VinWiki.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, for example, like when the exhaust fell off the SOM. Anyway, different story. But yeah, we'll go through that.
Yeah. So we are right now. Our next step is to take the manifold off. We've got 12 bolts in a specific pattern. We have our trusty
Milwaukee, man. This isn't a sponsor, but Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Unless you're a rich bitch and you like Snap-on, then yeah, go for that. But,
Well,
but Milwaukee, in my case, I like it. Run it.
They're bitches. So yeah, we've got 12 bolts. We do have some electrical stuff at the front of the intake that we haven't disconnected yet. At the front of the manifold.
No.
I'm hoping that by undoing the bolts, we can tilt and kind of give ourselves a little extra room, because otherwise, Audi's recommended path is to drain the coolant, to take this whole front of the car off so you can see the entire front of the engine. Now, honestly, that wouldn't be a terrible idea, because I have an oil leak at the front, and it actually comes down onto one of the main pulleys down there, for the accessory belt. And so when the oil comes down onto there, it flings itself all around. So my entire front of the engine is coated in oil, which at some point I need to clean. I like it clean. I want to know it is spotless. But right now, mainly the goal is to fix this leak, to try to find, my car is still smoking. For those of you that, I don't think we've talked about this yet, this car does smoke. It's less now, because I believed it was the CV boot on the left side, the driver's side, that was flinging CV grease or axle grease onto the downpipes. And I think it still was, because I just got that fixed. It is smoking less, but I do still have smoking coming from the back left corner on the driver's side. It could be a number of things. There are cam solenoids that help control oil flow into the variable valve timing system. I'm going to replace all the O-rings on those. Really, this job is awesome because it allows me to replace a lot of stuff preventatively, as well as hopefully solve and fix this oil leak. So we haven't talked about it yet. I have a drip down the front of the engine and a drip down the back of the engine. And actually what has happened is, we'll show this as well, but there is a oil filter manifold at the back of the engine at the top. That's where my oil filter is. And there's two legs. The first set of legs come into the valley of the engine. The second leg goes down the back of the engine. And so if you have both of those leaking, you get a leak from the valley, and Audi conveniently has provided drain holes from the back of the valley to the front. So if you get a leak at the back, it drains out of the front and down the front of the engine. But if you also have that second leg leaking, you get a drip down the back of the engine. So in my case, I'm really hoping that's what this is. I do expect to have this engine dropped out, whether it's me doing it myself if I get a garage anytime within the next year or two. And a lift, yeah. Or if it's the shop taking it out. But I do want to get this engine out, regardless of the service we're doing here today, and I want to get this engine completely resealed. I want to make sure it is good to go, because I'm at 111,000 miles with some change. And honestly, it's still a good car. It's a fully spec'd car, and we'll do some more in-depth kind of looks at this car, because it is a really special vehicle, and one that I've truly fallen in love with. So getting this fixed will hopefully kind of tide me over for the time being until I do that engine out service. But for those of you that are wondering, the current estimate that I have on that is $4,000. I think it was $4,005
and some change.
And some change. So I've heard of cheaper. I've heard of about $3,600. I've heard more expensive at about $5,000, $6,000. So
4,000 is a number to aim for.
4,000 is a good number, I think, and that's if I get a shop to do it.
Right.
Preferably, I know it's a major task, but when you look at where we are now, we've actually disconnected a lot of the evap lines that we would have to disconnect to get the engine out. So when we're looking at this, if we were to say, let's drop the engine now, we would have a couple more days of work, but we've already done a lot of the work. Right. So it'd be a lot of suspension disconnect,
motor mount,
or subframe, because we dropped it with the subframe. So it's not, people have done it before. It's not impossible to do in your garage.
It's just more time consuming than everything. So I guess process or steps afterwards of what we're doing now after that maintenance, I guess you can say. No, it is maintenance actually.
Yeah.
So after we stopped this leak and everything, going back to the whole cleaning thing, so we really want to deep clean it afterwards because we don't want any possible like other situation that we could run into. So instead of having it burning off all the extra oil that's just coating it right now, that from it just being dirty, we want to ensure that we fix the problem.
Yeah.
So we really want to deep clean afterwards to make sure there's no possible way that there's anything left burning over. We're like, oh crap, it's still burning. Where'd we go wrong? So I guess afterwards, doing all this whole process and everything, and then like Nick said, later down the line, actually reseal everything. But as of right now, we just want it to the point that it's driving how it should be. I'm not saying like it should be like
it drives the way it should.
Exactly.
It's just the smoking is embarrassing to a degree because I pulled up to a light a few weeks ago and a guy rolled down his window and told me my car was on fire. And that was, I believe, more CV grease or axle grease just billowing out of the front left wheel well. That is pretty solved. I think we didn't see much of that the other day. I opened up the hood when we got back to his house, and there was some smoke coming from the corner. Right. So there's those cam solenoids. They have a single O-ring that just turns square and doesn't seal anymore.
Right.
And then obviously for any Audi engine that is a timing chain engine, you do have to worry and wonder about timing chain covers. We're gonna get a good look here. I've already looked in the past, but I don't believe the timing chain covers are leaking. It's not as common on these cars, even at this mileage, for those to go bad. And it still could be the valve cover. I have had this in the shop twice now. And what happens is the driver's side valve cover actually warps. It doesn't seal fully. The gasket doesn't fail, but the cover warps. So you've got to replace the cover as well as the gasket. And the shop I took it to, they've done it before on S8s. They said they just trim the cover and it seals. But I think we're still having trouble there. So I'm probably just going to have them, the work is warranted, but I'll buy the valve cover and just have the cover and gasket replaced again.
Right.
I'm hoping that solves some of the issues. And if not, when I do have this engine out service, it's a great opportunity to go ahead and say, replace anything that would require an engine out service. Because a lot of these gaskets are $12. There's one deeper in the engine that's $12, and it may be a couple extra hours of labor. And that's if you do it in a shop. I'd love to be able to take this out myself and really clean it the way I'd like it to be cleaned, as well as just repair things the way I'd like it to be repaired. So I think that's all we have right now for an update. We'll kind of show you some technical stuff once we get the manifold off here. And you'll get a chance to hopefully see a large oil leak in the valley. That's what I'm hoping to see. It's not every day you want to see an oil leak, but I'm hoping with the 5 hours that we've put in so far that we take this off and we see oil in the valley and we see exactly where it's coming from. I've got all the gaskets to repair, replace, and hopefully fix this leak. Right. So.
And honestly, the way this is going right now, if you guys enjoyed this video so far, we actually might split it up into more than 2
I think
parts,
this was a good part 1. Yeah.
So this will be a good finishing for part 1. And then like I said, with the whole detailing with Cody, that'll probably be a separate video. So granted, we did clean it first, bring it in here. I probably got the fender a little dirty, but that's okay.
I've leaned on it plenty of times. So we'll need to rewash.
That'll probably be a separate video. This will probably be the end of part 1 for us actually deassembling and everything. And then, like Nick said, we'll probably pick up on assembly after that. But obviously, we'll finish up disassembly, or we'll just cut it off right here.
I think a part 2 could start with the manifold off. I think that's a good part.
It'll be a good huzzah! It's finally off.
Yeah,
good thumbnail. Yeah. So we'll probably end it right there. So hope you guys liked part 1 and can't wait for part 2.
Good to see you guys. Good.